what's going on, y'all? T-Bob here.
And Jake as well.
And you're about to watch a little OTB LSU.
We're going to give you all the latest, greatest between LSU football, baseball, women's basketball, softball, and everything in between.
Bottom line, if you want to talk Tigers, keep it locked, subscribe, like it, and we hope you enjoy it. Jake, I know your instincts here, because mine as well, is maybe to roll your eyes with what I want to talk about next. But I think the Louisiana bent to it is going to make it worth it.
Okay.
Can I interest you in some 2026 recruits? Yes, it's only 2024, but remember, this is like video game numbering where you're actually a year ahead, right? So like the 25 class is actually going to be signing in December of this year. So we're only a few months away.
Right.
So this is only a few months and a year away from these guys being uber relevant. The only reason I bring it up is on Monday, On3 released their first On 300. Get it? Stop 300.
I got it.
And I would not be bringing it up if Louisiana wasn't seemingly such a massive winner here. In fact, the article states, quote, "It can be argued that no state made a bigger splash than Louisiana." How about this? Number one overall recruit in the country in 2026. 8 in the top 300. 6 in the top 100. 3 in the top 10. You are talking about one of the lowest population states in America. And you're putting 3 in the top 10. And it's headlined by the St. Aug defensive lineman, interior defensive lineman, Jakeem Stewart. One of 3 5-stars in this initial 2026 On 300. I don't know, Jake. Symbolically, functionally, you just paid Bo Davis $1.5 million. I don't know there has ever been, again, even if he doesn't maybe it's a B-bus, like whatever. Symbolism in terms of winning, holding down the state, position of need. This is already a massive, massive glaring target for Bo Davis and the LSU Tigers.
Yeah, and typically we don't get this far ahead of ourselves in recruiting. There's other places that do it, obviously, at a different level than we do.
Yeah.
We like to, as you get closer and see who's actually going to be on campus and be in purple and gold. But to your point, you can start to get excited about this next recruiting class because you are right. Like December, like that's within this season, you're going to sign that 25 class that we've talked about. And so it is going to be sooner rather than later. And when you're talking about the moves that you made with the assistant coaches this year, it was with a class like this in mind.
Yep.
Go get a Bo Davis who played at LSU, has Louisiana ties. You get a Blake Baker who played at Tulane, has Louisiana ties, been at LSU. You bring back, obviously, Corey Raymond. Like, you made those moves in recruiting and on the field coaching, but also, like, recruiting was a large portion of that because they already knew the state. They knew the footprint of the state. Mm-hmm. They could walk into any gym in the state, and they get in, right? There's no, hey, who are you? I don't know you. Who are you? Like, tell me about yourself. No, they know all of these coaches because they've been here. And, like, Blake Baker's recruited at multiple schools within the state. So that is a main portion. And obviously, you got to get better on the field, but it's the main portion of why you decided to bring guys that had ties to LSU back and bring them all back together at the same time.
Well, and another crazy thing to consider is that you were already recruiting the state very well before you made these coach changes. Remember, we mentioned it year one, in which Brian Kelly takes over very late in the cycle. I think you signed 4 of the top 10, and then last cycle it was 10 of the top 11 players in the state with no real major misses. And now you have this, and then obviously we all know about the 25 class where you now have the number 1 quarterback, running back, interior offensive lineman, and wide receiver committed. And now in 26. And again, the Jakeem Stewart stuff is news because it's not just the number 1 D lineman. Jakeem Stewart is the number 1 ranked player in the entire country. And anytime your state has that guy, that is going to be news from a long way out. But it's not just him. You have Lamar Brown right here in Baton Rouge. O-lineman, number 1 interior offensive lineman, number 4 player in the entire country. I'm pumped up to watch him this fall. I had no idea. You have Blaine Bradford, again, right here, Catholic High, number 10 overall player in the country, number 1 safety. And then you got the 4th ranked tackle over there at East Ascension, who's a 17 overall. That's Bryson Martinez. You got Jabari Mack, number 6 wide receiver in the country, 40th player overall. He's at Destrehan. Aiden Hall, the number 7 safety at Edna Carr. Richard Anderson, the number 10 defensive lineman at Edna Carr. So overall, you're looking at a state that has 2 at their position, top 10 prospects on the D-line, O-line, and safety, all positions of need. So a really impressive showing from Louisiana here in this initial on 300. On 300. And I should mention Corinne Smith as well, and I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly, but a running back from Holy Cross that seems to be shooting up the rankings and found his way into the top 300.
The thing that I love most about this, honestly, though, T-Bob, defensive line and O-line being right there at the front of this, because LSU is never going to have a problem bringing in running backs, receivers, right? And DB, that's why you bring Corey Raymond back, bringing in DBs, although right now it's not to the standard of what LSU has had. Like, they've always had skill positions. Like, you got to get better up front. They have done that on the offensive line. That's why, in my opinion, a lot of people's opinion, you have the best total offensive line in the country. You have 2 of the best tackles in the country. You have the best tackle in the country. Now, defensive line, you've got a lot of work to do. A lot of work to do. So, like, getting these guys up front, that has to be priority number 1 in everything you do moving forward until that problem gets fixed, because it is a real problem. And it's not even a problem like with talent. It's just bodies. Like, you don't have them right now. I wouldn't be shocked, T-Bob, if they take like 3 interior defensive linemen in the portal. And the second portal window is going to be different than the first one. And remember, you can't take SEC players either. Even if they graduate, you can't do that. You can't. In the second window, they won't be eligible in the SEC. So you have to look out of conference, players you don't know as well, and that's where you got to lean on the evaluators in the personnel department, where they're watching this tape, they're evaluating these players in the portal because you're not familiar with them. Like,
you got to set your expectation. I'm not expecting them to get a dog.
No.
I just need bodies. I just need functional bodies.
Somebody like like Jordan Jefferson, like somebody who you're not really sure what he is, and he comes in and plays better than you thought.
Mm-hmm.
And now he's a guy that can go to the NFL Combine. He goes to the Senior Bowl. Like, you got the most out of that player. You need 2 or 3 Jordan Jeffersons from West Virginia last year.
Gulf South can't even take grad transfers? No. Yeah. Sankey's running a tight ship.
And I always thought that if it was a grad transfer, you could. But I was talking with somebody at LSU, and they said that is not the case. If they're in the SEC, it has to be first window for them to be eligible.
Wow, Jake, what incredible takes.
I mean, those guys, they're just the best.
I think so. And if you think so, again, hit the like button, subscribe, ring the bell so you get notifications when we post every single day here on OTB LSU.